You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Well, let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Amen. Man, he's been battling with that for a while. It's anyway. All right. Well, we ended the week on an up note, as we have for the last, well, since Valentine's Day. Let me just start out the normal way. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 16th day of October, 2020. Today I only traded two markets. I only traded gold and the ES, and we're up 20 ticks on gold and 18 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 425 on the morning session. Today it took 34 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 125, and that was all ES. And we only took a total of 8 trades today compared to 23 yesterday. So on the month now, we're at 63.82. That's over 12 days, averaging $531 a contract per day. And I am now at my 168th consecutive day of getting the goal. On the year, we're at $81,839. That's over 193 days, averaging $424 per contract per day. So the goal here, this 81 grand, the goal is to multiply that by like 10, when you get to the point where you can trade 10 contracts. Okay. If you have not become part of the CFRN family yet, and you want to become part of the CFRN family, go to the homepage. Go to EminiFuturesTrading.com. EminiFuturesTrading.com, and there you can sign up and become part of the CFRN family today. Okay. I'm going to go through all the trades that I did in gold, crude, the euro, and the ES now. All right, so we started off here this morning. There was a shorting opportunity right in here that I missed, then another one right there that I missed, another one there that I missed, but then I finally picked one up right here. And on that one, we picked up 8 ticks. The next one, 3 more to put us at plus 11. And then all the way here at the end of the session, I grabbed this one. And yesterday I did the same thing with gold right at the end of the session. I had an opportunity to pick up a nice trade. And on this one, I picked up 9 more ticks to put us at plus 20. During the break, there wasn't really anything worth trading. Just not a whole lot there. And that's odd for gold. Now on crude, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but we rolled to the Z contract yesterday. Okay, we had nothing on the euro. And during the break, there was, I don't know how I can say, how many ways I can say the euro was not tradable. Excuse me, we get to crude. We had a short there that I missed, a short there that I missed. Then it changed directions and it started moving up. Now my number for crude on the week was 41.15. And we've now hit that a couple of times. We pulled quite a ways away from it, all the way down here to 40.34. And it's gone back up to 41.15. I didn't trade crude at all today. It just didn't seem like, the slingshot just wasn't letting us get into anything. And I mean, looking at the markets today, I was telling everyone that trying to show everyone, we had an open house and I was trying to show everyone what to look for in the DOM and when not to trade because of the DOM. And I didn't have any stop outs, so I must have been okay. On the ES, we had +2 on our first trade right there, and then +4 to put us at +6 total right there. Another +4 right there to put us at +10. Another +4 right here. Number 4 seemed to be the number of the day. That put us at +14, and hang on. I missed one somewhere. There was another +4 that put us at +18. I must have not drawn it on the chart. It was probably right in here. Right there. Anyway, we ended up with +18 on the ES. And during the break, it was just total indecision. Right? We had this huge move down. Now, this was YBR short right here. This was YBR long. This was YBR long. This was YBR long. All that was during the break. But using our regular trade setups, we really didn't have anything in there. Okay, so let's jump back here to the spreadsheet. Again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is Friday, the 16th day of October. Today we made 20 ticks in gold and 18 ticks on the ES. Put us at +425 on the morning session. And today it took 34 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 125, and we took a total of 8 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're up 63.82. That's over 12 trading days, averaging $531 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And I am now at my 168th consecutive trading day of getting my goal. On the year now, we're 81,839. That's over 193 trading days, averaging $424 per contract per trading day. Okay, now, if you are not part of the CFRN family and you want to become part of the CFRN family, we've made it easy and affordable. All you have to do is go to eminifuturestrading.com. That's eminifuturestrading.com, all one word. Just go there and just follow the instructions. It's pretty easy, and we've made it affordable. So with that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Mic off.
Okay.
No, your mic was off. Supposed to be off. Anyway, Forbay all that. Yeah, I just got to. I'm formatting something. It'll just take me a minute.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Just
well,
smart.
I'll keep
smart.
I'll keep talking pretty
Yeah.
say smart things
Okay.
and stuff. Okay. Gold right now. Gold right now is suggesting that it's going to change directions, that it was going to top out right here. You see all those wicks? That is usually indicative of a direction change. Okay, and the cycle is agreeing with it. The green line down here is not agreeing with it yet, but what it's really saying is that we just need to pull back. And when we pull back, then I think what will probably happen, that was my son sneezing behind me. What I think will probably happen is we'll pull back up to the BBC and dynamic resistance, and the green line is going to get up above the cycle, and it's going to give us a shorting opportunity. And you see it's printing dynamic support right here. That green dot is the beginning of dynamic support. So that's a good thing. Gives you something to shoot for. What I am going to look at right now, though, is this. Okay, so where is that green dot? It's down here at 1903. And look at that number right there at 1903. It's going to go through that. Right now it's saying it's going to be choppy. It wants to pull back a little bit. It wants to pull back up to 1904.6, which would be a little bit above the a little bit above the BBC. But on the downside, it wants to get down there to 1902.6. Okay. Now this is something that I've been doing in the room in the morning. The last month or so. And letting everybody know what I actually see and what I think is most likely to happen once you get into a trade. But you're going to have the charts to get you into the trade. Once you get into the trade, then I can guide you through the trade. So right now, what I say it was going to go up to 1904.6. Okay, so I mean it could stop right here at the BBC and then go down. But I think it's going to go a little higher than the BBC. Yeah, it might go quite a bit higher than the BBC. It might go all the way up here to the YBR. But you got to wait and see what the charts do, because the charts can see more than I can see. And I'm basing my decisions once I'm in a trade on what I can see in the next 10 positions or 15, depending on what market it is. In crude it's 15. And crude right now wants to go up a little bit. I see crude going up to 41.25 right now. I mean, looking at the charts, it's just a bunch of chop, and you don't really see anything there. On any of these markets right now. This is like a Friday afternoon market. And, I was saying 1904.6 on the gold. And, I'm going to stick with that number. I still think it's going to get there. It just may not get there all at once. But then on the downside, I see a good 10-tick gain. Okay. Now the charts are suggesting that it's going to go down, not up. And I think if it gets up to 1904.6, the charts will still be suggesting the same thing. And then I think we're going to drop down here, all the way down here, and break this dynamic support. That's what I see. Does anybody have any questions about that? Anybody?
Yeah, guys, while I finish this up real quick, throw out some questions. Even if you're brand new, even if you've been around a while and you're still not sure what an up close is or a down close or any of the terminology that you hear us use on a regular basis, nobody sees what you type but us. And we're certainly not here to judge you. We're here to try to help you in any way we can. And for you to successfully learn this methodology and strategy, you have to understand what the different little buzzwords are and what they actually mean. So give it a thought.
Yeah, I mean, right now No, 1904.6 we just hit, and I was just telling you for a few minutes that it was going to get there. I like 1905 right now on the upside, and then we have a 10-tick gain on the downside. But we got to get the trade set up. We don't have it right now. Okay, there's 1905, and so it should fail off of 1905 down to at least 1904 is what should happen right now.
In the workshop last night, we talked about the three kinds of patience you need. Patience to wait on a setup, patience to wait for it to set up, and then the patience to stay in it until you achieve your goal and or more, whatever the market offers you.
Yeah, I mean, right now the market's throwing it down. Right now, it wants to go down. It's got a little bit on the upside up to 1905.8, but the downside is where it really wants to go, I think, and the indicators are suggesting it wants to go down. So what we need to see is this green line turn down, and when the green line turns down, we should get down to 1904 or possibly 1903.9, and those numbers will probably change as it starts going down. I'll be able to give you more accurate numbers. But right now, what it's suggesting is that it's going to go down. Okay. We don't have anything here on the ES. We don't have anything here on crude. And we don't have anything here on the euro. So gold is the only play right now. And it's going slow. Okay. Now, there's the down close. You see we had a gravestone doji on a red YBR with the bearish separation down here. Now, the upside to this, I said, was 1905.8 is the new upside, 1905.8. But if we get a down close on this bar, then I think it's just going to go down to 1904, 1903.9, that area. Okay, but we need to get the down close here. Yeah, looking at the other markets, it's really a mixed bag.
Last night in the discussion group, I said, guys, this doesn't look like fertile trading soil. It's hard to define that, but when you've seen enough good markets, and it's probably not a bad idea when you have a really perfect setup that just works perfect, and not every trade's a perfect trade, it doesn't have to be, but having a couple of pictures up, just mentally reminding yourself what it looks like, like on Michael's screen.
Yeah, right over here on the ES.
Pull away, pull back.
See, we didn't get the we didn't get the down close on that last bar here on gold. So it could run up to 1905.8.
What about that 60
if we get a down
trade
close on this
that you're showing?
on the euro?
Yeah, on the last bullish cross, price pulled away, price pulled
Right
back.
here. Price pulled back, hit the BBC, gave an up close. You had blue on the YBR. You had bullish separation. It was all there. All the pieces were there, except for the trend. We really didn't have a strong trend. So I wouldn't have taken this trade, but it did work out. Now we just got the down close here on the gold, and that's what I was really looking for. So now I'm looking at 1903.5 on the gold, all the way down here. Now, do we have a trade setup that we would do in the room? No, we don't. Is this something that I think is worth trading? Well, we had red on the YBR with a gravestone doji, bearish separation. So if you're doing the YBR trades, then yeah. And I would expect it's going to get down here to 1903.5 at least right now. It actually 1903, right down here, dynamic support. Now, it may not go.
It just so happens. Oh, I guess that was last week. The zone below is going to be 19. Actually, the zone below that's going to be 1886.
Okay.
The zone
Well, that's good.
overhead
Right
is
now,
19,
I can't see that.
1911.
But
last week we had one at 0304. That's what I was remembering. All right, let me grab these charts, take them off your hands.
Okay. Well, here it goes right now.
All right, let's watch it.
I'm looking at 1903 right now.
Mm-hmm.
3.5 was good, but sorry, I just got an appointment reminder on my phone. But what I was going to say is it might not go straight down there. It might have a pullback before it gets down there, but it's going to get down there. 1903. Well, I can't guarantee it's going to get down there, but I'm pretty good at this. I've been doing it a long time. And, the pullback area is 1904.6. And then the drop down area is 1903. So, I mean,
Now
there's
tell them
a
why
lot
the
of room there to
pullback
make your
area
money.
is 1904.6.
I'm reading the DOM right now, and what I'm doing, 1904.6 happens to be right here where the YBR is.
Okay.
So that gives even more support to the idea that the DOM, what I'm seeing on the DOM is correct.
Sure.
But it may or may not go straight there. I think it's going to go down to 1903. And once it gets down to 1903, then it'll pull back, and 1904.6 will be significant again. But I think it looks like what it's trying to do right now is just drop these other 7 ticks and get the green line, get this green line down into the cycle. And when it gets down into the cycle, it's time for it to pull back. And where's it going to pull back to? It's going to pull back up here. That's what I see happening. I don't know that it's going to happen, but it's a really high probability that it will happen. The indicators gave us a short right here off the YBR, right here. And I was telling you then that it was going to get to 1904. And, I first told you that it was going to get up to 1905, and then it was going to go down to 1904. And it did all that. And now I'm saying 1903. And, it may pull back right here. You see how the green line got all the way down into the cycle right there? That means it's time for it to pull back. So it may pull back here, and when it pulls back, it's possible that it could pull all the way back up to the YBR. But I'm still looking at 1903 as a destination for the trade. But the actual entry point on the trade, if you're using the YBR, was up here in 1904.6. And so if I were in this trade, I would be out of this trade right now because I'd be trailing my stop really close. So I'd have taken probably 5 or 6.
Could you flip that out to a 9 tick for just a second? Just see
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, I have an 8 tick in here. I don't think I have a 9 tick ready. But
Oh, the magic's 9, so.
oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know how we are with magic numbers. There we go. Okay. So here on the 9 tick, the numbers are still the same to me, but we have lower highs and higher lows. So I wouldn't want to trade it right now. But we did have red on the YBR, but the slingshot wasn't agreeing with it on the larger
The
time.
thing I've looked for as I've experimented with this or played around with it would be the close below the BBC, go short the next candle. Well, that immediately put me into a drawdown.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is that the slingshot did not agree with it whatsoever.
Exactly.
And I think the slingshot is what really gives you the direction. And so if you have this, and I did look at everything that you talked about the other day, Dwayne.
Did you?
And there's merit to it closing below the BBC, but you still got to have the slingshot agreeing with it. And if the slingshot doesn't agree with it, then you should probably just stay out of it. There's always going to be another
take a
trade.
relook over the weekend and add in the slingshot as part of the focus.
Yeah.
Just to see.
And everybody needs to remember there's always going to be another trade. And, this YBR thing isn't something new. It's, I don't remember how many years ago I
It's been
created
in our
that thing.
toolkit for 8 years or more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and we'd have to go back and look at the workshops, and see. There's probably a workshop somewhere that says YBR or something like that. But if Frank was still alive, he'd know.
God bless his soul.
Yeah.
Okay, let me grab these charts off your hands,
Okay.
and I'll get down to work.
There you go.
And there, and there we are. Okie doke.
I can see your charts.
We are in week number 115 of Logic 247. Okay, that's week 115. Last week, week 114, we issued a total of 53 alerts. 14 never triggered. There were 39 actionable alerts. 4 were stopped out. So that was 10% of actionable alerts were stopped out. Now, that's not a typical number. What we average each week is about 20% being stopped out. And then here we are in week 15, which started Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. The very first alert out of the gate to along the S&P at 3482, all the way to the final target, which is exactly where it went to the tick. 58 points, $2,900 per contract traded. Now, that's the type of opportunity that's available. I mean, I wish they were all this strong, but your goal in the beginning is to get into the simulator, the demo account, learn the methodology, learn the strategy, trade the alerts, because the more things you do, the more questions you'll have, and the more questions you have, the more knowledge you'll gain, and the more knowledge you gain, the closer you'll come to being a consistently profitable trader. So, I'm sure there's a couple guys out there that last weekend flipped out $97 for the week and walked right into that first trade. But past performance is no indication of future results. We all know that. We also know we don't have anything else to go on. So we do tend to look at past performance, even though we know it does not predict future results. Now, those, as you saw, come out one at a time, around the clock, as an individual message, as opportunity presents itself. Our private messaging app will notify you with a little audible sound. You open your phone, open your tablet, go to your desktop. You've got the entry, the trigger. You've got the initial target and any additional targets. It's all right there. Doesn't take a lot of thinking, but you still need to do that in Sim. Put together 10 days in a row before you start trading live money. Otherwise, you should just donate that money to some worthy organization that I'm sure is in need of it. Okay. Now the Concierge Trade Alerts last night. Got them out at 6:15. S&P. Why is there's two numbers? Well, because the market has two directions it can go, up and down. Of course, we know it can swim sideways. But with each of these markets, you put two lines on your chart. And as price seems to be beating a path towards 3,500, once it touches 3,500, you should be long and or looking to get long. Or if on the other hand it trades down to 34.71, then you want to be short and or looking for shorts below 34.71. It really helps to give you a frame of reference for the day, a fixed frame of reference inside of the weekly trading zones, which are also a fixed sort of support and resistance. So let's bring up some charts. S&P daily. Well, Yesterday, we got an open below blue and climbing, below the step line. Price looked like, for all the world, that it was headed to the BBC. And it is headed to the BBC because price always reverts to the mean. Just so happens that our mean is green. The green line, we call it the BBC, stands for Bull Bear Cross. When price crosses above it, we're bullish, looking for higher prices. When price crosses below it, we're bearish, looking for short trade setups. Price gets back above it, we're looking for long trades. Okay? So, in a moment's notice, you can glance at a daily chart with their indicators on it and know if today should be an up day, down day, what kind of day we're having. Now, yesterday, 2 days ago, we were talking about the potential that blue and climbing and the step line could become resistance or support and send the market higher. The price was able to trade through it. So that makes this a little trickier. However, from here, the high of this current candle, right where blue and climbing is, 35.17 up to 35.20. Looks like a pretty decent trade. Now that's just off a daily chart. We'll go look at a 30-minute chart in a minute. Now, over the course of this entire year on the daily chart, we have had come on, baby. Okay. Now, because we recently rolled, oh, and we're rolling to December crude tonight, right? Okay. See how we had a bearish cross back here in March, and price just fell to March 31st, March 23rd. But then once we got back above the BBC, now we're bullish again, expecting higher prices. We didn't, after this bullish cross on April 8th or 9th, we didn't get another bearish cross until September. Am I saying you could have just bought it here and sold it here and made a lot of money? Yeah, I can say that. I can't tell you I did that, but obviously you could have. We're not the woulda, coulda, shoulda people. Everything we do is transparent, live, and in real time. Okay. Now, as points of reference in teaching, sometimes we'll pull up a historic chart to look at. But when you're in the live training room, that's a live chart, live data feed here on the show. I run my demo platform during the show because I don't want to accidentally place some order I don't want to be placing when I get distracted. But the data itself is live in real time. Now, the simulators and all of that, they got a bad rap years ago because they were like, nah, pretty crummy, almost like an arcade game. But the simulators today, if it didn't say simulator or demo, you wouldn't know you weren't trading the full platform. So whoever your broker is, they offer you some kind of demo account. Put in those days until you put together 10 days in a row where you reach your goal. Then you can feel confident on your 11th day as you go live with one contract. Okay. All right. Let's get off this daily chart. Well, let me explain one more thing. If buyers keep the pressure on, and if we close today, and this is a Friday, if we close above blue and climbing today, then that could call for a bullish open Sunday night. If we fail here, come back to the BBC, then we'll have to see on Sunday night if it's going to hold as good support or not. On the 30-minute chart, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Always important to remember that. Okay. So last night, the S&P, the alert said to consider being along at 3,500. Buy. $3,500. Okay. Buy 3,500. Swing high was 35.41. So that's not right. Jesus, I need to get well. Alright, let's go to the right time frame, guys. Yikes. No, come on. Okay. 30-minute ES chart. Oh, and look at this beauty from yesterday. An alert to be short at 34.95. Oh, here's the one I want to show you. 34.71. Oh, come on. There was a trigger, 34.71. You had multiple triggers off the same number. And it took you all the way down to the zone at 34.35. That was a very pleasant trade. Now, notice how sharply red and falling becomes blue and climbing. That has to do with the fact that this one candle covered 20 points or more. 35, yeah, 30 points. 35, 45, 55. All right, 20. 20-point candle. So it was the aggressiveness of this candle that turned this to blue and climbing so quickly. And look what happened every time price pulled back to its support, support, support. Now we got a bullish cross. And we ran right back up to the zone at 91/92. All right. So again, last night's Concierge Trade Alert. I think I gave you guys the wrong screenshot. I think I gave you the day before. Okay, here, Thursday, 6:50 p.m. Eastern. These are last night's numbers. S&P, Dow, Russell, Crude, NQ, Gold, Silver. Okay. Snippet. All right. Okay. Now that I'm on the right day. Consider being long 34.88. Okay. So what does that mean when a Concierge Trade Alert says, consider being long at or above 34.88? It means be long, let that be your trigger number, or whatever else you may have. You know, maybe you want one candle to close above it. Some people have a few different rules, but I don't have any rules attached to it. My thought is if price hits 34.48 in that same move, it's going to make it to the zone overhead, which is 3 points. Okay. And typically you would take profit there, and if you took your profit there, there's no problem with that. You had a nice $150 per contract trade. From 88 to 91, you got 3 points. But notice that price stayed on the left side of blue and climbing, stayed on the left side of the step line, okay? And it ran all the way up to the next zone overhead, 3503/04. Where it reversed and came home to the BBC. So this question will probably help answer some of the questions that we had in the workshop last night. When do we know it's okay to re-trigger on one of these alerts? When the chart gives you the setup, pretty much. Okay, it's 34.88. We got back below 34.88, and then it just popped right back up. Those are more difficult. I mean, I like to see price kind of get below the trigger, circulate a minute, and then take off on another run. So, is it possible now that we've pulled back to the BBC that we could get a retrigger that could take us back to the second to the highest zone this week? Yes, it's true. Now, swing high up here is at 3507. 3507 minus 34.58. That's 49 points. $50 a point. $2,450 per contract traded. Okay. Now it's come back and put you in the same position. Now we've got 5 minutes left in the life of this candle. So what I'd like to see is I'd like to see this candle close below the trigger, below the step line, and then let the next candle start grinding, get above the BBC, trigger, bang. That's in the perfect world. Okay. Once you discover the location, please inform all of us. So $2,400 per contract move. That's what the market made available in the S&P. Let's take a look at the Dow. Now, I never did figure out what happened with that gap in the data. I don't know if any of you guys found out or not. On the Dow, the alert concierge said to be long 28439. Two eight. Two 8439. It is a real number, right? Close enough. Buy 28439. That's what the alert called for. we put in a swing high at 28,732. 732 minus 28,539. Well, I did that math wrong. 2,8,539 minus. Oh, wow. Let's try 2,8,732. I could have already done this on an abacus. $193 points at $5 a point. $965 per contract traded. Okay. Short side on the Dow is 28. 289. 28. 289. Okay, so we never touched that. All right, moving on to the Russell. Okay. CTA for the Russell last night, considering long 1650. And by golly, we haven't even made it there, have we? This is swing high. 48.40. So we never triggered to the long side. 16.20, we never triggered to the short side. So there was logic trade alerts on the Russell that triggered, and you can see them in the channel. But for Concierge market, remember when you draw those lines in the sand, when the alerts come out at night, you go to the charts that you trade. So for the Russell, you put that line in at 28439. I'm sorry, 1650. Just like this. This is at the beginning of the session before all the charts, filled with the new sessions candles. You put a line there and a line here, 1620. Everything between the lines is the market making up its mind. When it's committed, it will trade through 1650 and keep going, and may come back and re-trigger multiple times. Or the market may head another direction. Looks like it's pretty comfortable just consolidating right here at this weekly trading zone for now. So let's go to the NQ. NQ. Last night's alert. Long at or above 119.26. Come on. All right. Buy 1926. Swing high on this one. 1222. What? Sorry. Guess I would need the gold chart to give you the gold price. On gold, the alert was to be long above 1928. Never happened. Short below 1898. Never happened. Not in this session. So that's 2 no triggers on the Concierge. It's a little unusual, but market's in a state of mind trying to figure out what that state of mind is. Now on this NQ right here, this is the CTA trigger at 11926. Price may be about to trigger again, but the caveat is you've got red and falling right overhead. And on a 30-minute chart, there's a very good reason to anticipate that that's going to be good resistance. So you might have to let it consolidate out until maybe even red and falling gets below the trigger, and then price gets back above the BBC, back above red and falling, and then you got an opportunity to take this trade all over again. It's a $965 per contract trade. Okie doke. We have covered everything but silver. A lot of wicks. Consider being long 2451. And again, this is an example of important prices, important areas. Testing and retesting and retesting. Now, a 2-penny move in the price of silver is worth $100. A $1 move in the price of silver is $5 grand. So the entry on this one that was published was 2451, and it went up to 45. So we're talking 4 cents. We're talking $200 per contract traded. Back below the trigger, off we go again. Now see, on this second trigger, we're above the BBC. We've got blue and climbing at our back. All conditions perfect. And then we trigger again. And now looks like we may make a move to the downside. We got a bearish cross here. The swing high is 2466. 2466 minus 2451. So 15 points, $750 per contract traded. Each time it made that run, thereabouts. Okay, let me see if there's any final questions in the question box. Pray for John. I didn't get an answer. He almost always answers, and or either calls right back. John, if you're out there happening to be listening in, I've gone through the recap, and I'll be heading into the good word for the day. So if you have plans of coming on, ring my phone real quick. Yesterday, there was some confidence and some pep in his voice. He really felt like he was going to be okay to do the show today. So please keep him in your prayers. That he be much better, much sooner. Let's take one last look. This daily chart. So, price has two things right now, two major things. Either buyers keep the pressure on and we take out this swing high. This swing high is the only obstacle we have in our path to the all-time historic high. The other thing that price will try to do is it will try to break this swing low. Market's always trying to do something. Always trying to break something. Previous high, previous low. It's just the way it's put together, the way it's driven, the way it was built to run. All that stuff. Now from where we sit at 34.95 back up to just the high of the session will be 35.41. So keep an eye on that. And I'll be keeping an eye on the charts after the show, so anticipate there to be more alerts this afternoon. Pretty sure I already gave you this, but if not, you can have it again. This week so far up to noon, 65 total alerts, 11 ever triggered, 53 actionable, 19% stopped out so far. The number we've averaged over the last 115 weeks is 20%. Okay. So if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, I'm not going to say we're fresh out. I'm just going to say we never had any. We've always treated this as a business. Just as we teach you to treat your trading as a business, we treat our trading as a business, but we treat our trading business as a business. Follow me? So, over the years, much has changed, much has happened. Good years, great years. You know, kind of like life. But here we are, closing in on another year. Now, from 34.88 to 34.99, just this first little move on the ES last night, that's worth $150 per contract traded. Now, I know you already know this, which is why I insist on telling you again. If you go to Emini Futures Trading.com, Emini Futures Trading.com, this is a true story. You can start learning and trading today, and you'll have everything a trader needs. $97 a week. You can opt out for the lifetime membership whenever you want, but just because the economy's struggling, we thought people give access by the week, which has been well responded to. When you think about all that you get for the $97, it does almost seem to be too good to be true. 2 hours of live classroom training every day with Michael putting on and taking off trades while you ask questions and learn the methodology and learn the strategy. Then a 30-minute break, then this 2-hour show, and then the rest of my time is spent looking for opportunity in the market and the other things, of course, I have to do. And I guess what I'm saying is we monitor the markets 24/7, so you don't have to. We've sacrificed our life so you can have one. Until your phone, until your cell phone, your tablet, your PC makes that little telegram sound There's really no reason to be sitting in front of the charts. Now, in the beginning, it's all kind of fascinating, and I know everybody's put in their 10 and 12-hour days in the beginning. But I tell you, it is not healthy for you, physically or physiologically, to spend that many hours a day staring at these screens. In the 2420 blueprint that you get when you become a CFRN passport holder, is that it allows you to determine, or helps you to determine, what kind of a trader do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy that hangs out and looks at the charts all day? Maybe in the beginning, then maybe it gets a little old. You know, I know some people after many, many years are still in front of the screens just about 24 hours. Our goal for you is to teach you a methodology that is simple enough that if you master the strategy, you should be able to because it's simple. Come in every day on your time frame. Doesn't have to be 9:30. It's when you have the time. And then get your goal for the day, which most of our students set at 2 S&P points. Now, I mean, I don't want to make this thing too simple on you, but once again, here's the recap for this week. 19% stopped out, 53 actionable, 10 stopped out, which is 19%. But what I wanted to show you here.
Playing your audio is off.
Wow. I wonder how long that's been going on. A pretty long time, I guess. That's a shame, because I said some really great stuff. But it looks like the microphone on the video encoder is open. So I'm going to assume the video, the YouTube version, will actually have all of my audio. Yeah, Bobby, I see where you sent me a message about 4 minutes ago. I don't know what I did.
Okay, which is
Anyway.
okay. Well, you're back.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay. All right. So again, guys, the Logic 247 alerts look like this as they come, as opportunity presents itself. Okay. Now, these numbers, this shows the swing high. This shows the market. This tells us this is alert number 5,422 over the last 115 weeks. Sell, initial target, weekly trading zone, final trade to target. Okay? And those just stream out as opportunity presents itself. There's a crude, $490 per contract. Now, and of course, this is all available for you to see, and so feel free to get with Valerie and take a look at whatever you want to take a look at. But if you're ready to become a trader, and you've tried all the gimmicks, all the parlor tricks, bought all the religious relics that are, you know, supposedly doused with holy water that are going to make you a superstar. Number one, okay, please request a refund, because you know that don't work. But I remember when I first started trading, I would, even though I would go to bed excited about the prospect of trading the next day, next morning I would wake up with this little ball of fear in my belly. I mean, I certainly knew that I didn't really know what I was doing yet, but I had been used to all of my life going to work and earning money. I was always top sales commission in the office, or I manage the office, or I mean, just the sheer act of going to work generated income. Trading's different. You can show up, and some days you may not show a profit. Our goal is to help you hone your craft so that you can go in and grab a couple points a day out of the market. Now, how many opportunities out of a day are there in the S&P to grab a couple of points? Well, these are 30-minute candles. Let's go down to a, let me find another chart. Yeah. Okay. This is gold, but let's talk ES. All right. So 2 points. Show me 2 points. Well, the top of this candle right here, if you look across, you can see that's 35.04. And right here where the candle opened was 35.01 point something. So from the low of this candle at 3,500 to the high 35.0450, that's a 4.5 point 30-minute candle. And you can see it's pretty average size. There's some bigger ones, I guess maybe a few smaller ones. Now that's on a 5-minute. Even if you were to drop to a 1 minute, in the last 21 minutes, you've had 2 opportunities that would have given you points for the day. So really do some soul searching with that blueprint so that you understand who it is you're training to become. Okay? Are you training to be the guy that wants to be in trades for days, weeks at a time? Or do you want to come in, get your points for the day, go home flat, sleep well because you have no open positions, wake up in the morning and do it again? Now, I got to say, that's, in my opinion, and in the opinion of most of our members, that is the simplest methodology. And of course, 2 points in the S&P only pays $100, so that won't pay the bills. The blueprint will walk you through a process. Once you go live with one contract, you increase your account balance by $2,000, and then you use those profits you earned to add a second contract, which now puts you at $200 a day, right? The blueprint will tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10. By the time you've earned the right up the ladder to trade 10 contracts, and you've earned the right based on your success, your profit, a 2-point trade worth $100. If you're trading 10 contracts, it's worth $1,000. That's $250,000 a year. That's the top 3% of wage earners worldwide. I wish I could promise you that you'll be successful, that you'll be one of the greatest traders we ever turned out, that all your hopes and dreams will come true, but I can say that I hope all those things for you, but I certainly can't promise them. What I can promise is that, as those of you who are already passport holders know, we're there for you in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. When you need help, you can call, You can email, or the fastest ways, it just says up in Telegram. In the discussion group, you can send a private discussion to one of us, myself, Michael, or Valerie. Stay connected. The more questions you ask, the more you'll learn. The more you'll learn, the more simple you'll realize what this underlying principle is that we're talking about. Now, this zone here went from 34.92 to 35.03. So that's 11 points. So that's $550 per contract traded. But if you were the trader who had earned the right to trade 10 contracts, that would be a $5,000 move over the course of, well, this main runner right here happened on the, that wasn't the Wall Street opening candle. That was the 10 a.m. to 10:30 candle. Okay. So, all right. We've covered all the recaps. I've shown you once again. This is where we are on Logic 247 for the week. 65 alerts total, 11 ever triggered, 1 waiting, 53 actionable, 10 stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade. That's 19%. Our average number over the 115 weeks has been 20%. Okie doke. I see no questions in the question box. So let's go to the good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about bird watching. Stand by. Today I want to talk to you about something pretty awful. Awfulizing. We're all guilty of it. We all do it. And if you deny that you do it, how awful of you. Matthew 6:31 says, "Do not worry." The most oft repeated phrase in the entire Bible. I am told, I did not personally count them. Fear not. And I think that holds hands with don't worry. How did I hear this the other day? Worry is praying to a God who can never help you. But prayer is talking to the one person who can help you. I have to remember that quote a little better. So Matthew 6:31, do not worry. No matter what happens in life, try to keep things in perspective. When you don't, you end up viewing minor problems as major ones. Or you do the opposite, treating significant situations as, it's no big deal. Either tendency, awfulizing or minimizing, leads to problems. So do your best to see things as they really are and don't let them get blown out of proportion. Which means I guess we all got to throw a TV away because everything seems to be blown out of proportion these days. Develop the habit of looking at the big picture instead of dwelling on the one issue that's upsetting you right now. Whatever your current situation is, whatever your current problem is, hold it up against the backdrop of your entire life. And as you look over your shoulder behind you, you'll see the important points of your life where God had your back every time. Now, not everything in life turns out perfect to our understanding, but the Word does say that all things work together for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purposes. Or as Joe would say that thing, thinking excessively about your problems makes them appear larger than they really are. When you run up against a situation that upsets you, deal with the panic before you try to deal with the problem. Sit down quietly, calm yourself, take time to purposely recall the good things you enjoy also. I think you're supposed to deep breathe 10 times or something. I'm not sure if you're supposed to use a paper sack. Does that make you pass out? I don't know. Anyway, just funnin'. Before you blow up, calm down. Now, sometimes after calming down, there are certain instances, let's say they're rare, where you do have to kind of blow up. There was a man who went into the temple, a man who called himself God, and he was ticked off. The money changers' tables kicked him over. That'd be like one of these coin shows today, right? Everybody's got all, and some guy comes in and just starts tearing the place up. That was quite a statement. The problem Jesus had was that, see, what the people, what they were doing was not legally wrong, because when people would come to the city, they would travel from provinces, places far away, and they would have their currency, whatever it was, the Ubuntu or whatever. And once they got to Temple City, they needed to go to the currency exchange. If you've ever been on a vacation, you've probably been to a currency exchange. You give them a $20 bill and they give you back so many pesos or whatever the case may be. Well, that's what these guys were doing at the tables, the money changers. But Jesus didn't like that. Turned over the tables, ran them out. He got quite a reputation after that. Now, I'm not suggesting that you behave in any such manner. I'm saying when you get upset, when you blow your cork, calm down for 5 minutes before you take whatever action needs to be taken. Most things can wait 5 minutes. If your hair is on fire, you probably better get right at that. If your house is on fire, you probably better jump on it now. But immediately ask yourself, all right, can I think about this for 5 minutes? Okay, what does that mean? Maybe you just sit quietly with your eyes closed and say, God, I have a big decision to make here. Seems a bit much for me. And I'm not sure what I should do. By the power of the Holy Spirit, I ask you to just speak to me. And then just sit there. And don't try the mystic art of calming your mind or becoming one with the candle. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying I never became one with the candle. That wasn't chemically induced, but that was another generation. Now, there's a term today called mindfulness, and it's sort of the opposite of meditation. Instead of trying to still the mind and make everything go dark, you just watch your thoughts. Like you're standing beside the road. Oh, there goes a red car. Oh, there's a blue pickup truck. Oh, that dude's almost got a flat tire. When you sit there, this stream is going to run. Your job is not to make it disappear. Your job is just to watch it. Don't judge it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't be upset by it. If something flows past you in that traffic, that mental traffic, okay? No judgment. Just observe. Your job is to observe your mental traffic. Try it 5 minutes a day. As soon as you can, bump it up to 10. And of course your mind will wander and you'll just remind yourself, hey, I'm doing the mindful thing. And then you'll go back to trying to just watch the parade. Trust me, it's much easier to watch the parade than it is to still the mind and become one with the candle. Google it. It's real popular. It's like the cool thing now, but it's been around forever. And I have benefited from it, and I know many other folks who have done also. People who previously failed at this thing called meditation, where you got to sit weird and make your mind go blank. That's kind of tough. So, just remember that thinking excessively about your problems makes them appear larger than they really are. The more you dwell on something, the more likely you are to attract that into your life. You see, this, I don't want to go deep on this because it's a long talk, but your subconscious mind has a job. It's there for a reason. It's the fixer. It gets stuff done, leaving you free to be cool and clever, right? So if you're always worried about your bills, then your subconscious is going to do everything in its power to make sure that you always have bills. You see, there's something funny about the subconscious in that it doesn't understand the context of what you're dwelling on. Well, I could dwell on my bills disappearing. You know, there's plenty of experts out there, people who give free advice. And always check out people that you're going to study their stuff. But if you can just learn to watch that flow of traffic with no judgment, and at the end of the session, don't go away, oh my gosh, I can't believe I saw that, or why would that pop into my mind? Remember, you're not supposed to judge it. You're on it. When you commit to doing this, you're on a journey. God's driving the bus. Trust Him to get you to wherever it is you need to go. The thing about worry, which is prayer to the one that can help you, never goes away. When you resolve one issue, another one is right there to take its place. It's a fact of life. You can't change it. So what are you going to do? In all situations, and I talk about this a lot with trading, only think about the things that you have control over. Focus only on the things that you can control. Now, we know in trading there's a whole lot of things that we have no control over. We have no control over some Goldman Sachs trader stepping up with an order for 10,000 Emini contracts or 100,000 or whatever the case may be. Are you with me? Think about the things you have the ability to change or do differently. And every time your mind comes across something that you can't change, you can't fix, just give it back to God. God, I got to ask you to handle this one because I can't. Most of us, if we would just spend half as much time doing something about the situation that we're so worried about, we might get the worry or the problem taken care of. So this mindfulness thing, you don't need any special mat, don't need any incense, you don't have to shave your head. It's simply sitting quietly 5 minutes in the beginning with no agenda. Not counting your breaths. No agenda. Your eyes are closed and you're just watching whatever pops up on the screen. You don't orchestrate it. You don't direct it. You really shouldn't even act in it, but you may show up a few times. And just observe. And just observe. And after a day or two, you might go, what good is this doing me to watch my thoughts for 5 minutes a day? Well, the good news is you only have 5 more days before you've done it 7 days in a row. And they say 7 days is enough to start a habit. And as you start Googling the term mindfulness, which is, there's nothing anti-Christian about it, there's no Hindu gods or anything like that, you're going to see how popular it is today, if you're not already aware of it. And different folks that are outspoken on the subject practice it perhaps a little differently than others. But you just committing to taking 5 minutes at some time every day and actually sitting down doing it. And remember, you can't fail at this. That's got to be comforting, right? If you can sit in a chair and be quiet and be still, with your eyes closed for 5 minutes, that's it. So there's nobody here that can't do this. And I promise you, if you do this, you will start to see changes in your life. Okay, I don't want to go too far off the deep end on all that, but give it a try. Google it. Remember, no matter how much you worry about something, that's never going to get rid of it. Taking some action might get rid of it, but worrying about it, it's not. Okay? So change your perspective. And I get so many of these political texts. It's, how'd you get my number? Instead of focusing on your worries, factor God into the equation. Has He ever failed you? So the right answer is no, and He never will. But if your answer is yes, then that's legitimate. If in your heart you feel that in some way God has failed you, then you need to go talk to your pastor. If you don't have a pastor, well, that might be part of the problem. Okay? Get around some people filled with Christian love, not judgment, not all the judgment, and just find us. I don't even cringe when I use the term safe space, but that's one of the reasons to be a part of a church. And it says, forsake not the gathering of the brethren, is because in a church, wherever you fit in on the socio-economic, theological scale, you'll find somebody kind of like you. And who knows, you might end up with a friend for life. And men, I think, are more guilty of this than women. Now, I know a lot of men have a lot of friends. Y'all go drinking every Friday night and fishing every Saturday, and you kill Bambi every Sunday, and then you come home Sunday night. Yeah, I know. But I also know there's a lot of men out there who live a very lonely existence. They may have a wife, they may have a family. Especially people in this business, working alone. Fix what you can fix. All this mindfulness do will open a portal and help you to better understand yourself. If you're watching the traffic go by, if it's a red car, okay. Blue truck, okay. You're there to watch, not figure anything out, not judge. Because it is how did I hear this put yesterday? It is your subconscious identity that has to shift for there to be real change in your life. And that's actually something I'm studying right now. And the more I understand it, the more I'm going to share with you how they say that can be done. The grace of God that sustained and brought you through the last worrisome situation will be with you in this one and the next one. Notice what Jesus said about the things we worry over most. Do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But if you seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all these other things will be added to you. It's Matthew 6:31. And that's our good word for the day. All right, guys, it is the weekend. I hope you have a great one. I used to always encourage you to spend a lot of quality time with your family, but I think we've all spent most of the year with our family. And, that's created some tension. People have felt cooped up, and, the cure became worse than the curse, I think. So I'm going to leave it where I've left it the whole time, in Jesus' hands. It's the safest place I know to put it. So anyway, whatever you do, enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.